Listen to me. Listen with everything in you. Not later, not halfway, not distracted. If you are going to do what the world calls impossible, you must begin by doing what most men never do. You must listen with full attention. You cannot drift through this and expect power to follow. The impossible will never yield to the passive. You're about to be handed a method, one that has been used by men who turned the world upside down. But if you treat these words as entertainment, they will pass through you like smoke, and nothing will change. You will return to the world unchanged, and that is not why you are here. You are here because something in you refuses to accept limitation. This is not motivation. This is not flattery. This is instruction, divine instruction. And I will give it to you only if you listen, not casually, but with decision. For if you drift through this message the way you drift through your days, you will leave here no better, no wiser, no stronger, and the world will say they were right. You failed. But if you listen, if you truly listen, you will never again be the same man. You will walk different, speak different, decide different, and act with a boldness the timid cannot comprehend. For the words I speak come from the same laws that built empires and shattered limits. They are the same truths that men like Edison, Carnegie, Lincoln, and Ford used to silence the world's doubt. You must understand, every great thing ever built was once considered madness. Every advance, every empire, every invention, every revolution was once called impossible. And it was achieved not by ordinary men, but by men who listened, believed, and obeyed. They did not seek approval. They did not ask for permission. They did not drift, and neither will you. So I say again, listen, do not skip, do not wander, do not check the time. This is not something to play in the background. This is the blueprint to do what others say cannot be done, and you will not grasp it unless you listen with stillness, with fire, and with purpose. If you leave now, you will not be changed. You will return to the world, and the world will swallow you whole. But if you stay, if you give me your full attention, I will show you how to rise above their limits, silence their doubts, and achieve what they said no man could do. This is the moment. Listen now. Listen with urgency. For the impossible does not yield to the man who is casual. It yields only to the man who is committed. That man is you, if you listen. If you are going to do the impossible, you cannot think like the average man. You must not drift. You must not delay. You must not doubt. You must not wait for conditions to be perfect. You must begin with an iron will, and you must march forward through every obstacle with decision, with definiteness, and with faith that does not bow. Impossible is not a fact. It is a judgment. It is a label placed by small minds on great visions. It is the word used by those who never dared, to warn those who might. But I say this to you. There is no such thing as impossible to the man who knows what he wants and is willing to pay the price to get it. The world will always laugh at what it does not understand. It laughed at the Wright brothers. It mocked Edison. It questioned Ford. But those men did not yield. They did not argue. They did not drift. They kept moving toward their purpose until the laughter turned to applause, and the ridicule became reverence. Edison was told it could not be done, artificial light, a stable electric lamp. He failed over 10,000 times, but he refused to listen. He refused to drift. He knew in his mind that it was possible, and so it became real. He held the picture. He held the belief. He held the course. And in time, reality conformed to his vision. Carnegie dreamed of an empire forged from steel when others saw only coal, sweat, and labor. They said he was a fool. They said it was too big, too bold, too unlikely. But he knew his purpose. He visualized his aim. He backed it with belief. And he surrounded himself with men who believed with him. And what began as impossible became a billion-dollar truth. You are not here to repeat what has been done. You are not here to chase shadows or imitate others. You are here to extend the frontier of what is possible. You are here to prove to the world and to yourself that the limits placed upon you are lies. You are here to build something that the world must reckon with. To do that, you must begin with a burning desire, not a wish, not a hope, not a passing interest, but a desire so strong it becomes obsession, a desire that takes hold of your heart and demands to be fed with thought, with faith, with action, with sacrifice. For it is written, "Desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible." That is not poetry. That is law. When desire becomes the dominant force in your consciousness, it drives all things before it. It bends conditions. It repels failure. It attracts ideas, people, circumstances, and strength from places you have not yet seen. But do not think this will come easily. Do not believe you can achieve the impossible while thinking like the ordinary. Impossible goals demand higher levels of concentration, purpose, emotional control, and spiritual resolve. You must become a new man. You must burn away the old habits and build in yourself a new identity, one forged in thought, belief, and iron persistence. And you must listen, not for amusement, but for transformation. You must listen as if your entire future depends on these words, because it does. One missed sentence can cost you years. One overlooked truth can delay your breakthrough. If you are serious about doing what they said could not be done, you must listen with the intent to obey. So I say this to you now. Begin this journey by refusing to entertain any idea of defeat, no matter what they say, no matter what your fear whispers, no matter what your past tells you. You are not your history. You are not their opinions. You are not your environment. You are what you decide to become from this moment forward. You are the one who has been chosen to show the world that the impossible is not a boundary, it is a starting point. You are the one who will take the ridicule, the silence, the rejection, and convert it into power, into proof, into results. Not because they believe in you, but because you believe in you. Say this aloud. What they call impossible, I call my duty. What they reject, I claim. What they fear, I pursue. I am chosen to do what others dare not. Let that be your creed. Let that be the drum that marches you forward. Let that sentence become a spiritual sword that cuts down every doubt. You are not here to participate in mediocrity. You are here to create what has never been done. If you aim to do what has never been done, you cannot scatter your force. You must concentrate every ounce of power into one direction. The man who would achieve the impossible must never drift. He must be definite. He must know what he wants, why he wants it, and be willing to give all he has in exchange for it. Drifting is the slow death of great men. It is the habit of the untrained mind, the passive soul, and the weak will. Drifting shows itself when you change your aim with the weather, when you seek the approval of the crowd, when you delay decisions and dilute your focus with 1,000 small wants. But the man with a definite chief aim is immune to these traps. No man ever climbed a mountain while looking at 10 hills. No man ever became great by pursuing 5 small aims. To do what others call impossible, you must walk a narrow path, and that path demands your complete allegiance. You must not dabble. You must not divide. You must burn every bridge behind you and walk only toward the goal that sets your soul on fire. Write down your definite chief aim. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now write it clearly. Make it specific. Let it carry emotional weight. This is not a task for the casual mind. It is a declaration of war against mediocrity. You are saying to life, this is what I demand. This is what I will become. This is what I will create. And once it is written, it must be seen. Place it where your eyes meet it every day, morning and night. Let it become the compass that corrects your direction. Let it speak to you when your energy fades. Let it cut through the fog of distraction. That aim must dominate your waking thoughts and govern your sleep. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot pursue greatness and entertain weakness. Your mind, your hands, your time, your habits, your conversations, your environments, All must bend to this one definite purpose. When you move through life with this kind of focus, the impossible begins to yield. Circumstances adjust, people respond, resources align. Let us study Carnegie. He did not pursue 100 things. His early definite chief aim was to control the steel industry. He saw it clearly. He believed in its power. He knew the fortune it held. And because he was definite, because he burned every other option, he attracted men like Schwab and Frick who helped build his empire. Definiteness drew resources. Carnegie's definiteness also attracted respect. Men trust those who know what they want. The world yields to the unwavering, but it ignores the uncertain. If you cannot decide, you cannot lead. If you cannot lead, you cannot build. And if you cannot build, you will never rise above the noise of the mediocre. Do not think the universe responds to confusion. The subconscious mind cannot act upon vague desires. Infinite intelligence will not assist a man who is uncertain. The law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, these are precision laws, and they obey definiteness. Every day you go without declaring your chief aim is a day you lose power. Every hour you spend drifting is a seed of failure planted. The world has enough men who wish, who dabble, who entertain ideas without committing, but few dare to say, "This is what I will become, and nothing shall turn me aside." So I command you, repeat your chief aim aloud, not once, not weekly, but daily. In the morning when you rise, at night before you sleep. Say it with emotion. Say it with conviction. Say it until every cell of your being believes. Say it until the world itself begins to bend in your favor. There is no mystery in success. There is only law. And the law says, whatever you hold in your mind with clarity and emotional belief and pursue with definite action, you shall have. You are not exempt from this, but neither are you entitled without obedience. You must pay the price. I say again, no man achieves the impossible while trying to achieve 5 things at once. Choose one aim, the one that burns, the one that demands your attention, the one that causes fear and excitement at the same time. That is the aim worthy of your life. Once you choose it, you serve it. Your conversations begin to align with it. Your planning aligns with it. Your daily hours are organized in support of it. Your distractions are removed. Your excuses are killed. Your very identity is shaped by your aim. You do not drift anymore. You do not wait for signs. You do not ask for permission. You begin to move, and the world notices. Opportunities begin to emerge, not because of chance, but because your definiteness has made you a beacon. You begin to magnetize. But I must warn you, without this discipline, your aim will vanish. It will fade into fog, and the world will say they were right. You failed. They will call you crazy, then they will call you lost. Not because your aim was too high, but because your dedication was too weak. That is the great crime. Not that you aimed too high, but that you served your aim too little. If you are going to defy the world and do what they say cannot be done, you must live by one law, definiteness of purpose. And that law must show in your speech, in your actions, in your thoughts, and in your very presence. Say this aloud with me. I know my aim. I serve it only. I walk toward it daily. I do not drift. I do not doubt. I become the man worthy of impossible success. Let those words become your code. Let them shape your day, your decisions, and your destiny. You are not here to be ordinary. You are here to command results that the world called impossible. You must understand this one thing if you ever intend to defy the limits of man. No one achieves the impossible without being first called insane. The world does not believe until it sees results. And by the time results appear, faith is no longer needed. So if you are to accomplish what they say cannot be done, you must begin in the dark, with faith as your only light. Faith is not a mood. Faith is not a gift. Faith is not the privilege of the few. It is a state of mind that you build. Faith is constructed brick by brick through repetition of thought, repetition of speech, and repetition of action. It is formed when you command your subconscious again and again to believe what your eyes cannot yet see. Faith is the foundation of all transformation. It is the evidence of things unseen. It is the substance of all results that begin in the invisible. You must treat faith not as a feeling, but as a discipline. You do not wait for it to rise. You summon it. You create it. You construct it by what you say, what you see, and what you allow to take root in your mind. Let me give you an example. Henry Ford had a vision that the world laughed at. He wanted to build a motor car for the masses. He was told it was foolish. Then he demanded that his engineers build an 8-cylinder engine in one block. They said it could not be done. Ford said, "Do it anyway." They tried and failed. He said, "Try again." They failed again. He said, "Keep going until you succeed." And eventually, they did. That was not technology. It was faith. It was belief in his vision when every so-called expert said it was impossible. It was his refusal to accept defeat, and that faith became mastery. What began as madness became the future of industry, and the man who was ridiculed became one of the wealthiest and most influential men of his generation. Now you must build your faith the same way, through auto-suggestion. Speak aloud what you choose to believe until belief becomes law in your subconscious mind. Speak it when you feel weak. Speak it when you feel strong. Speak it when no one is listening. Speak it when the world laughs. Say it until the very cells of your body rise up in agreement. This is why I gave you the self-confidence formula in Think and Grow Rich. Not as inspiration, but as instruction. It must be memorized. It must be declared. It must be obeyed. For through repetition, your inner world changes, and once the inner world changes, the outer world cannot help but follow. Faith must become an identity. It must become the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you decide. It must show up in your tone, in your presence, in your steps. It must radiate from you so strongly that others begin to believe in what they once mocked, because you believe it with such force. But let me warn you, the minute you stop affirming, doubt will rise. And doubt, like rust, eats through every layer of power. Doubt creeps in quietly, with a whisper, a question, a delay. And if you do not answer it with faith, it will take root. And once it does, it spreads. And it kills dreams from the inside out. Look to Abraham Lincoln. He faced defeat after defeat. He was mocked. He was doubted. He failed in business. He lost elections. He buried children. But he held a belief that his life had purpose, that his voice mattered, that he would serve a great mission. And he never let go of that belief. He became president. He shaped a nation, and his faith outlived his flesh. Faith creates magnetic confidence, and that confidence bends circumstance. It changes how you move through the world, and the world responds. When you believe with clarity and emotion and act accordingly, the doors begin to open, not because the world changed, but because you did. So I give you this command. Speak faith into your soul until it becomes louder than your fear. Then act on it without apology. Let your steps be bold. Let your decisions be final. Let your aim govern your speech. Let your mind accept no argument against your dream. Say this aloud now. I believe in my aim. I believe in myself. I believe in the power of thought backed by faith. I do not wait. I decide and I do. Let those words be your weapon. Let them rise up when doubt knocks at your door. Let them silence the voices of limitation. Let them direct your hands, your hours, and your identity. For you are not a drifter. You are not a wanderer. You are not a man of maybe. You are a man of faith. And faith is the root of all mastery. You will not do the impossible if you give your attention to the ordinary. You will not rise above men while walking beside those who scoff at ambition, and you will not reach your purpose while listening to the babble of those who have none. If you desire to accomplish what others say cannot be done, then you must guard your mind like a fortress. Every word you hear, every voice you entertain, every doubt you tolerate, it enters your subconscious and it roots. And what takes root grows. This is not theory, it is law. If you water weeds, they multiply. And if you permit doubt to speak, it will become your belief. And belief becomes your reality. You cannot climb the mountain while listening to those who never left the valley. The voices of critics are not proof. They are poison. And if you do not silence them, they will paralyze you. They will rob your belief, distort your vision, and laugh while you fall. So I say to you now, cut them off. Controlled attention is a spiritual law. The mind obeys what you give it repeatedly. It cannot hold faith and fear at the same time. One must starve, one must die. And it is your daily discipline that decides which survives. Either your purpose rules you or your distractions do. You must starve the doubters. You must refuse the company of the aimless. You must shut the door to every opinion not aligned with your purpose. Do not argue with small minds. Do not explain your vision to those who cannot see. Do not seek approval from those who fear to act. They will only infect your thinking. Whatever enters often enough will take root, even if it's a lie, even if it's poison, even if it's weakness wrapped in good manners. The subconscious accepts repeated input without judgment. It does not ask, is this true? It only asks, have I heard this enough? And when the answer is yes, it obeys. That is why the drifter listens to everyone and accomplishes nothing. Edison worked 18-hour days while others mocked his persistence. He refused distraction. He refused debate. He refused to even acknowledge the voices that said it could not be done. Why? Because he knew that if he listened to them, he would become them. And that was a price he would not pay. You must adopt the same attitude. Do not explain. Do not justify. Build your power in silence and let your results speak for you. The man of definiteness